Renee.
And I'm Emily, and we are the Glimmer Hunters.
Our podcast is all about exploring the tiny moments that lighten your day.
Today we're going to dive deep into one of Renee's favourite subjects, exploring why this particular subject lights her up the way it does. Renee, can you tell our lovely listeners what we'll be discussing today?
Fabergé eggs. Which is pretty niche, but it's an apart from the fact they're shiny, so they're literally glimmerful, but I just love them. They've been a glimmer on my horizon probably, I don't know, since the 80s, which is weird because I wasn't even born then. Okay.
Do you know what's so funny about Fabergé eggs as well? And I now only associate Fabergé eggs with you. Purely, I understand that they have connections to the Russian royals and whatnot, but I'm at the point now where I think Fabergé eggs, I think you.
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard, and I will take it.
It's also funny. I was talking to Brendan about we're doing this episode and the topic we'd be covering, and saying, do you do Fabergé eggs? And he's like, Renee has always been about Fabergé eggs. It's like she has always been about Fabergé eggs. As long as we've known you, we've known about Fabergé eggs.
Oh, my work here is done. I have arrived.
Oh dear. Now, before we get started talking about the fabulous Fabergé eggs, I thought we might just chat about some recent glimmers. Have you got any that you would like to share?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I've got your bog standard getting up earlier in the morning, so you have more like carved out time, which has been lovely in the past week that I've been enjoying. We've also been planning our backyard, which our backyard is tiny, but in order, it's a good design challenge because I want it to look as big and as interesting as possible. So you've got to pull all the levers to manipulate the eye as much as possible to make the illusion. So that's been glimmer filled because pottering around with those ideas is super fun and researching and stuff. So that's been absolute glimmer. And then Chris came to me with this wildcat glimmer. We have under the house, and you can just stand up under there, and it's traditionally going to be like a cellar and or storage. And then Chris came up from the cellar on the weekend and he said, I think if I dig out the floor a bit, we can put in a sauna. I know, I almost fell off my unicorn.
Oh my God, that is so cool.
So excited because, again, our house is tiny and the block of land is tiny. So, putting a sauna anywhere would be like a sore thumb, stick out like a sore thumb. So if we could put it underneath the house, my life would be action.
Out of the way, no one can see you. It's like,
one of those jaunty, Bluetoothy ones, so you can listen to meditations in there. Oh my God, it's going to be like a Nordic day spa in my cellar. It's just, I'm so excited.
Cellar, sauna, what can't it do? This space ticks all the boxes.
Honestly, when you live in such small everything, you measure out the space by the square meter. Not by the square inch, even square meter.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know. But you guys are so clever at that, being designers and, working in that space. I feel like if anyone can do it, it's you two.
Yeah, we are the smoke and mirrors of the smoke and mirrors expert of the Southern Hemisphere.
Add that to your resume.
And Gosme, what are your glimmers for the past week?
Again, a bit of a standard one for me. I know I've already talked about this before. I was having glimmery anticipation of going for my first swim of the season, but it happened recently and it was everything I was hoping for and more. It was a super hot day. The water was freezing, but I pushed through, and I was thinking it's almost a little bit triggering the trigger becoming the glimmer, because I got in the water and you just instantly just freeze up and you're like, it's so cold, and you're like, will I keep going or will I stop? But I pushed through, and it was just so nice to just have that refreshing swim. First one done. So good to be back in the water. Love it.
Do you walk into the water at the same pace, or when it hits different bits and pieces, do you do, because I do the and it's just torture the whole way in, or do you just plow in?
Well, it kind of depends. I feel like in the beach, I'm more keen to just go straight in. Like, so you have to kind of go, like to go with the wave. So if I see a wave coming, I'll dive under it and then it's just done and we're in. But I was in the ocean baths for this swim. And so there's a ramp. And so you have to walk in. So it kind of is that you get to your waist, then you're like, oh, this is happening. And it wasn't so cold that it takes your breath away, because I've had that before, but it was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, and I guess is that part of your nervous system that's like, panics a little bit just from the pure cold. But yeah, then I just sort of keep going, and I just got to get my head under as quickly as possible. That's my strategy. I think walking in slowly is almost the worst way to do it. It's just rip off the Band-Aid, get your head under as soon as possible, because as soon as you're under, then you just get used to it, then you can swim and you move and it's all fun then. So
Right.
my personal experience, yeah, go faster rather than slower.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I understand in theory. It's just my body's like, do you want to die? Like, do you want to race to
Yeah.
my body's not a
It's definitely a little bit of that. Because you don't put your head under the water, do you? You're not an underwater swimmer.
Because I'm always usually wearing makeup and I don't like my hair getting wet. Although I've got such short hair, I don't know, that must be a overhang from having longer hair. But yeah, no, I don't. I'm not great at. Also, it gets in my eyes and it gets up my nose because I never. Yeah, the coordination and stuff. I get a bit weird about it. But that said, though, I love floating on my back in the ocean and the water covering my ears. It's like and all the sound gets pushed out, and then you've got the sun. But I only like doing that if there are swimmers further out, like seals, decoys for the sharks. Safety in numbers.
Yeah. What I like about the ocean baths, though, you don't have to, all that sort of stress is removed. So it's a lot less like you have to be on your guard all the time or just, having those thoughts about predators in the water. So it's I find it much more relaxing.
Yeah, I'm going to try that because the salt water is critical to the floating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it just feels so good when you get out and you're just covered in salt, and I love it.
Yeah.
So good. So we're back. I went to the dentist recently, and I do this weird thing where I book the appointment and then I cancel it like at least 3 times as it's coming closer. I do this every time. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And then I finally go and I get it over and done with. And I'm so relieved. The Glimmer is the relief of it being done and it's over for at least another 6 months, if not longer. But I also feel like I am so glad to have it done, but I try and get out of there so quick. It's like I feel like I'm fleeing a crime scene. I'm like, just get me out of here. I don't have to think about this for another good block of time. But so I did that recently, and it was just a bit of a satisfaction of checking something off the list and the relief of getting it done.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Boxing Day. It's the longest possible time for Christmas Day.
Exactly. Yes. Good chunk of time before we have to do this again.
Yeah.
That's comforting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Well, nice little glimmers to get us going. But back to the eggs. So for anyone who doesn't know, could you explain what a Fabergé egg is and maybe describe it, like what it looks like?
Oh, with pleasure. In a nutshell, Fabergé was kind of probably, I don't know all of the technical, for most of my life in everything, I'm a dilettante, and I'm a Fabergé dilettante as well. But ballpark figures.
What's a dilettante? Sorry. Excuse my ignorance.
A dilettante is a very elegant way of saying a person who knows bits and pieces about all kinds of stuff, but master of none. This, bit of this, bit of that, bit of that. Yeah, sensational fun. Like it's, those mosquitoes that skim the surface and get a long way just touching the water rarely.
I wouldn't describe you. I feel like you're very knowledgeable about a lot of things, but
my dilettante job here.
Very convincing.
But yes, so in the spirit of a dilettante, and so I haven't got all the hard facts and figures, but from memory, it's in the late 1800s, maybe 1860 or something. There's a Fabergé family. They have, I think they're Russian, but they have affiliations either with France or they study jewelry making in Germany. I think Gustav, the father, initially starts it, or the first of the generations, and then he passes it on to his son. I think it's Peter Karl Fabergé, and he studied in Dresden, Germany. And Dresden, Germany have this movement called, it's like the Green Vault, and it's this intricate, crazy, pure, gold displays of mermaids and seahorses and eggs and these recreations of these mythical creatures and stuff, and they're all enameled and covered in jewels. But we're talking the 1800s. Well, actually, the green vault is more like 1600s. So they definitely, of course, they have smith, goldsmith, and silversmith making skills and jeweler skills, but it's a bit more rough and ready, but in a beautiful, elegant way. So then he comes across to Russia, bish bash bosh. He works for 10 years for free for the museum, helping them repair like old filigree pieces and stuff. And then he sets out to do, his own jewellery work. And then the Tsar Nicholas, who's the last or second last Tsar of Russia, he, is up to speed with Mr. Fabergé, and he commissions a piece. Somehow they get involved. And so ultimately, I think it's in the late 1880s, the first egg is made, and it's literally, it's small. They're only they vary in size, but this one's only about 10 centimeters high. You crack it open, it's solid gold. Inside that is a yolk. Inside that is a tiny hen, a chicken or the egg made of gold and enamel by hand. For shits and giggles, they have made this. So it's a gift from Nicholas to his wife, Alexandra, I think. Thereafter, the Russians, the royal family get quite enamored with these tiny pieces of folly. And then it's just eggs flying left, right, and centre. There was about 50 made in this exquisite period from about 1880 to about, I think 1914 is the last one that's made. And they are made the most intricate detail of all time. Like there was two of the Russian royals took a ship, I think for 10 months from like Russia to Shanghai, or Peking when it would be known Beijing, and they go via Thailand, which was Siam, and they took Fabergé gifts with them, and wherever they went, little key rings, not key rings, but trinkets, letter openers, cigarette holders, trinkets galore. They took so much Fabergé with them, and they dispelled, gave it out as they went on their trip, all the way through India and stuff, that they had to send for more Fabergé gifts. The King of Siam, Thailand now, was one of the world's biggest collectors. He became absolutely enamored with it. They gave him an elephant. They gave these two Russian royals an elephant, and that went on the yacht, and off they went again with the elephant over to China. Nuts. I mean, which bit are you not loving already?
I know. What I'm a bit hooked on at the moment is do they all have little surprises in them? Or is did they everyone come like that? And then were they all the same sort of surprise, or was it different surprises inside?
It was exactly. So one of the eggs that they made it's the color of their interpretation of the color of the ocean. So it's some special. They use precious stones, and Carl was a big he was it shouldn't have to have the most expensive stones. Whatever you need to make the egg perfect, that's where it's at. So he kind of dissed anyone who's too commercial with their jewellery. But anyway, so this one that they made to commemorate this trip that the royals took, the egg cracks open and there's a perfect gold replica of the ship. They call it a yacht, it's like a ship. And then it's sitting on a piece of, I think it's aquamarine that replicates the ocean. So that one had a surprise. Some of them had little doors that open, and inside a little hand-painted photographs, or maybe even photographs, because they would venture around then, of the royal family, of their family members. But some of them you pop the top, and we're talking pre the car, pre-electricity. This is and that little tree comes out, a little family tree with all their little cameos. There's one.
Oh my God, like a pop-up book, but it's gold and jewels.
Gold and jewels and jewels and gold. And it's all, so they're all enameling, enamel, it's like nail polish, it's shiny. But there's two things amazing about their enamel. One is they make it the base 3D, so you can see those lines going out, not dissimilar to a Raymond wheel watch, how it's got those fine 3D lines in the front. Then they pad it in with a clear glass, and then it gets fired again, so then it's got this 3D effect. But then they also pepper it, cross-grain it with other colours, so then it looks like it's shot. And this is, again, we are predating machinery, this predates the Industrial Revolution. So there's that. And then, and so two of them that are super, super, super exquisite. One of them is crystal, and it opens that way, it opens sideways, and there's a peacock in it. And you get the peacock out and you wind it up, and the peacock walks, and its tail fans out.
Stop it.
Again, for shits and gigs.
Stop.
shits and gigs. It doesn't double as like an AirPods holder, or
Yeah.
it's not a mug that turns into a pair of shoes. Like, it's not zip off short pants that turn into shorts, which are a crime. Uh, this is the antithesis of those shorts. There's also another one where the egg opens, top ways normally, and they've articulated, like our spine, the vertebrae, they're articulated, so it move, curve up and down. They've articulated the spine of a swan, so as you open it, the swan's head automatically curves all the way up, and then you bring her out, she stands up on her own, and then the weight of her head brings her back down again. So she moves. So, it was mind-blowing that this craft and this attention to detail for these eggs, and they're one-offs and they're not replicated. And then, of course, the revolution just decimated them. But yeah, that's another story. Not decimated the eggs, but certainly put us to the gifts.
Wow, that is incredible. I didn't know that they did all those cool things. Like, I knew they were fancy and they were made of gold and jewels and whatnot. And I knew there was some kind of surprise, but I didn't realize the sophistication in the design that had gone into them. That is crazy for that time period, isn't it?
Yes, and that's what I love about it as well, is we are led to believe that technology is moving us along and everything today is better than yesterday, when in some industries and techniques, the opposite is true. And certainly, like here in Australia, where we're a tiny island, we have very little supplies, very little. You think, the chances you can get anything you want these days. One trip to Bunnings will disprove that immediately, because you won't find the size that you want. You have to buy 100 of ones that won't fit what you need. Whereas this is like back in the day, where the bespoke skills were impeccable and unfalterable, and the attention to detail, like being able to enamel, anneal, forge, cutting of stones, cabochon stones to the cut stones, and then being able to interpret design. Like, a lot of it was made in St. Petersburg, where the sun sets, because it's up in the Arctic Circle, of those beautiful peachy golden tones, like our Glimmer Hunter's backdrop, like that. So a lot of the pieces emulate that. So being able to do that, and the quality and the attention to detail, it's just a gift. Like, it's a joy that somebody, and you can imagine, because it comes out of deep meditation. When you're concentrating that hard, you are in the zone. Like, you can't multitask doing that job. So it comes through, you can feel, not that I've touched one, but you can feel the quality of it, because it's come out of this deep, like it's come through the ether.
So good. Do you remember where you first were, or when did you first come across a Fabergé egg? Like, were you reading a book? Was it on TV? And how old were you? What was your response to it?
I can't remember when the first egg hit my eyes. Or I think the first egg in general, I was at the National Gallery when I was a kid, and in the arts and crafts, which is right at the top, hidden away, dusty, because, and this is kind of my axe to grind, but sometimes smith work, craft work is the lowest within the art pecking order of the snootery, because it's seen as craft, not art, and it's a whole internal snobbery thing. And anyway, so I was in the craft section, and I saw this ostrich egg that had been carved into, and I have this thing for eggs as well. I really love the shape of an egg. It's the most soothing, relaxing thing. Maybe my favorite shape in the world is the shape of any size egg, from little eggs to big eggs. I had all kinds of eggs. And so I thought that was amazing. And then in the 80s, so Fabergé, kind of got decimated probably by about the 1918, I think they closed down. And because World War One had, happened as well, and they lost a lot of their artisans in the war. Then I don't know who resurrected it, but someone bought the name Fabergé, and then it got licensed like a machine. So by the 80s, remember Fabergé shampoo and conditioner, deodorant, aftershave, they're in green bottles. I know.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah, and so, when I used to see that, because I was younger, so I didn't know any better, and I thought the name Fabergé sounded like, if I thought Fabergé was French for fabulous, because it's Fabergé. Yeah. I think they did jeans as well, like Fabergé. I remember it was on an ad, so I thought it was tremendous. And then it also had an accent on the E, like my name, so I thought that was kind of interesting. And in the 80s in Melbourne, it was a desolate time. There was a bit of culture, but there wasn't a whole lot going on. It was pre the internet. So anything I could get that looked exotic from overseas, I was in. And then I can't remember the first time I came across the egg, but my best friend growing up lived down the street, and her mum, her grandparents were Russian, Baba and Didi. They had, my friend's mum, they had walked from Russia to Poland after the war, walked to get out of, well, predates the USSR, but to escape. And Bubba was pregnant in a Polish refugee camp, and that's where she had my friend's mum. And then eventually they emigrated to Australia. And so our neighbours were Russian, kind of Polish, but Russian. And then she had two husbands, one was Austrian, one was German. So I would go over there, and I spent years living, hanging out at their house. And their house felt Russian. Like, it had this beautiful, deep, like, wood paneled walls and these beautiful things from around the world. And it just felt so Tsar and Tsarina. And then my friend's mum would decoupage. And decoupage, again, is, it's considered a craft. And so it's kind of not overly championed. In fact, if you watch Kath and Kim, I'm sure there's probably a piss take on it. But decoupage is cutting up paper and then applying it with layers of varnish between so you can make it 3D. And it's exquisite when done well. Like, it is breathtaking. And it reminded me, and then it's like the eggs. And so I affiliate, like, I associate the eggs at Russia, with this family that I spent time growing up with. And then I was watching Antiques Roadshow many years later, and this woman comes on, and she's got this bracelet, and it's got all these little eggs, like the size of those really little chocolate Easter eggs, and this necklace with all these little eggs. I don't think anything of it. I'm like, oh, it's kind of over. It's a charm bracelet to the power of 10. And, they're all colourful and stuff, all these little eggs. Anyway, and the person sees it and they start getting all weird and detailed about it. So you're starting to lean in, like, because, you don't know if it's going to be the pot, if it's a pot, if it's going to be like $20,000. And then they're like, tell me about this. And the woman's like, oh, my dad travelled a lot. And whenever he came back from Russia, he would bring us another one of these Easter eggs at Easter time for our bracelets. And so we'd put them on here. And, long story short, they were Fabergé eggs, not the big ones, not the 10 to 15 centimeters, but they were little, like, pendant ones, which they used to make well and sell because they're a jewelry house. And that was worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not priceless. So this original Fabergé is worth a fortune, and it blew my mind. Then bang, I was back on the eggs. And then when I knew about surprises and then the filigree, and that, I was like, oh my God, this is my idea of heaven. And so I started looking into them. And at the time, the most expensive one was about 18 million, I think, Australian, which I could have bought it because it's doubled by now. But what of that? It's silly, but yeah.
No, I remember when you first were educating me on Fabergé eggs, many, like 10 plus years ago. And I remember the value of them, like, blew my mind. Like, when you were talking about them, I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. Yeah, it's pretty neat. And then when you're talking about the tens of millions of dollars that they're worth, I was like, what? This changes everything. Like, that is crazy. And so do you know what are they still retailing for, like, is the value still the same?
Yeah, they only go up in value, and they're tricky as well because it depends which way you kind of want to look at it, because I think after World War One they maybe went into production a little bit more. So numbers vary, but there's anywhere from 50 in the OG up to 67, I think. Theoretically, in the world, numbers kind of quote there's around 59 that are still in existence. I'd be flabbergasted if it's that high, because when these were given out as gifts around the world, the Russian Revolution happened, Lenin auctioned off, and there was, the palaces got ransacked and stuff. Like, I strongly doubt, and they're not all accounted for either, and counterfeits, so copies, replicas, that kind of thing. Like, I'd be shocked if it's that high, but they do still go for fortune. Some of them, the surprise has been lost out of them because, it's loose, and so of course it gets lost.
Of course.
Some of them would get damaged. Some of them would have got melted down because people wouldn't have known. They turn up in the weirdest spots as well. Like, they can be in people's, because, a lot of the Russian aristocrats and royal family fled to America, to the UK. So they'd kind of sell them off cheap as they went, just to survive, because the mighty had fallen. So yes, there's not that many, which just makes the ones that are absolutely authenticated worth exponentially even more. And I suppose because it appeals to people of the law of diminishing returns, like, once you can afford a house, a holiday house, yacht, a private jet, like, you've got to get wilder with your things. So that, or you buy a Picasso.
Yeah, Fabergé, Picasso. That's where it all ends up.
We've all got challenges.
So funny. So, of course, the reason that we wanted to talk about Fabergé eggs today is because they give you a glimmer. So they're a glimmery thing for you. And this season, we were particularly keen to just do a deep dive on specific topics or, little subculture areas that really get people going. So, of course, we knew this about you, that Fabergé eggs was something that lights you up. So what is it about them exactly so you talked a little bit about this already, but because I was sort of doing a little bit of a thinking, I'm like, is it like the opulence? Is it the history? Is it the surprise element, the mystery? Like how many are still left? Like what is it that really sort of gets you, that you really tickles your fancy about a Fabergé egg?
With Fabergé eggs, it's kind of twofold. One is secret, like I'm not into the monarchy and I'm not really into birthright either. That said, I have a strange relationship because if I could be anything, I'd be a royal. Like, what a sweet ride. I'm just jealous. Like when those two royals or that guy and his wife decided to leave that famous royal family, I was like, you're an idiot. You lost your mind. Like it couldn't get like and everyone's like, well, it's much harder than you imagine. Like I can work those big scissors, I can cut those ribbons. They manage. I'm sure they'll be fine. Like
Yeah.
in there.
Head back to my palace.
Yeah, draw me a bath, lady in waiting.
Yeah.
So there's that relationship. But with the eggs themselves is I get like lost in them. Like when I look at them, I just like I can't absorb them enough. The enameling and the shine and the colours and the imagination and the craftsmanship all together. And it's all for the sake thereof. It, rightly or wrongly, I have a bit of an allergy to like what some people call practicalities. Like it can bore the shit out of me. And so I just love, and I love things, and I love it when people make things, and I love things for the sake thereof things because it kind of flies in the face. And to me, beautiful things are practical because how else are you going to feel someone else's joy than this lasting legacy of this physical thing that they created? And it's just, there's something about it like I'm like a 3-year-old with a butterfly. Like I just want to squeeze it. I just want to crush it. I just want it so bad. Like I want to rub it on me. Like it's visceral. Like it's just so good. Like a smooth eggplant and you just want to squeeze it. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. That's awesome. Then just to clarify that, you've never seen one in real life, right?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
No. Can you imagine? I would shit myself. Like I
Oh.
would be in tears. Like I'm in tears sometimes when I see them. Like if I watch videos of them being open and stuff, I just want to cry with joy at the splendor and the beauty of these exquisite creations. Yeah, I would, oh my God. And those things are way better in real life.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, could you imagine like like you were talking about the colors and just seeing the actual mechanics of it in real life? Like that would be something spectacular, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen the modern ones. I've visited, they used to be in Sydney. There was a Fabergé store. There was a stockist here. I don't know if there's still is, but like the little eggs, I've definitely investigated those, which they're beautiful, but I get it's very moreish. Like I just want the big one. So I do have those, which is actually I have two things. One when a few years ago we were at Marina Bay Sands in Singers and in the gift shop they had these, not replicas of Fabergés, but that style filigree beautiful eggs. And I bought one and you pop the top and toothpicks come out. And so that is one of my favorite. Like Isla and I think that's so funny, and we think it's so. And because you know what else it is as well, especially even with that thing, reminds me of my grandma as well. And my grandma had this lived in this shitbox fibro cement house with an outdoor dunny in like Northcote, which is like 10 k's out of the city in Melbourne. But she had these trinkets, and that would have definitely had pride of place. And I actually have. Oh, I have it here. This isn't a Fabergé egg, but in cleaning out my old family home, I remember to bring this with me today, is this box, if you're listening up to pop it on Insta, and it's like nondescript blank box, and I opened it, and I'd forgotten that we'd had this, and what it is, it's this,
Ooh, is it a light?
yeah, it's a lighter and a cigarette case.
Yeah.
And on the front it says memory of Japan, so it's Kamsa.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So a Zippo and this.
Yeah.
It's in this thing. And so my grandpa was a smoker, but I hardly think that he, speaking dilettantes. And in true Japanese spirit, like it opens the opposite way to our books open. How they read their books, the other way. And So lo and behold, so I never knew where this came from. I can remember it as a kid. I don't remember where it came from. Lo and behold, my dad passes away last year, and Chris finds all these slides, and he buys this slide scanner, and we start looking through all the slides. Then I come across these two older ladies, and they're in Singapore, they're in Japan, and I realize it's my great grandmother Augusta, who is literally Augusta Wind, Wildcat. It's from her travels. I forgot she used to travel. I don't know how or why, but this woman had lots of houses. She was separated. The husband did not have money. I dared even ask what kind of razor game she used to run. And so she would go on these cruises, like from the 1950s and 60s. And obviously with a friend, I mean, I assume it was her partner. Looking at the photos now, I assume it was her girlfriend. Yeah, I know. And so I never knew this. And so she got this like in the 50s or 60s from Japan and brought it back. And it's so unusual for a single woman to be able to A, afford it in Australia, B, go on her own or with her lady friend. And the colours and stuff, like it's beautiful. It's enamelled, it's fluoro pink. It makes me want to take up smoking again.
Nice little case you got there. Well, that is quite like an unusual, circumstances for a woman of that vintage to do such a thing, don't you? Like it is, yeah, when you think about that.
Yeah.
Well, unheard of, right?
Yeah. It blows my mind.
To go traveling, that part especially,
Yeah, and it makes me
by
love
themselves. Yeah.
the trinkets even more, like mementos and trinkets. Again, I mean, it could be a chip on my shoulder, but they're kind of not seen as that important. But then when you get this like hand, I never met Augusta, but she certainly over our lives, like, she kind of played God with everyone a bit. Like to have this piece of kit is amazing. Like, my grandma and they used to have these Zippos because my grandfather was a manic smoker, and they had these Zippos that were in the shape of like little grand pianos, and you push the keys down and the lighter would pop up, or there were little tiny ones that were like no bigger than the top of your thumb, and they're like micro Zippos. And and I grew up with these things, and they were mainly broken and odd, and nobody cared anymore. But I was so busy gathering these shiny trinkets like a bowerbird that's kind of part of it.
Yeah, because you've always been about like trinkets and little bits and pieces. Like you love all that stuff, don't you?
I live for it. I think it's just the beauty of people crafting stuff, and also just seeing things at face value. Like I think growing up in the 90s in Australia, I felt was a really, we had that pendulum swing away from the 80s and the recession and all that kind of stuff. And it just felt like a really drab navy blue, cream and beige period of Australia, very androgynous. And so it made things sparkle even more when you found something that was like not a diamond in the rough. Yeah, a diamond in the rough, really. And that's how I feel about anything. Yeah, it's that whimsy. It's the whimsy.
Yes.
Live for the whimsy.
Yes. Because it's like you were saying before, it does fly in the face of practicality. Like these things aren't made for a purpose other than to be enjoyed, to be amusing, to be entertaining, to be beautiful, to be adored. Like, that's it. And I think culturally, we've lost so much of that. Like everything has to be about productivity and efficiency, similar to what you were saying earlier. But there's something quite childlike and just, innocent about that sort of a joyful object that I just even think back to like my grandmother's house as well. She was into ladru, is that what it's called?
Oh, ladru.
And there was like all those sort of people just collected things like that. She had all the teaspoons up as well, and I don't know, I think we're a bit more minimalistic now. We don't sort of have those objects and those things as much. We don't sort of covet that as much culturally, I don't think. But it is interesting. I mean, we just don't create those things anymore, I guess, just for the sake of it. It all has to be doing something, doing a function, making our lives better. But in what way?
Yeah, and also being generalists. Like we're really encouraged, I think, in this culture to be good at everything. And I don't know if this is true, I don't know a lot about Stoicism, but Stoicism, from what I understand from Julius Caesar, is forget all the auxiliary stuff, focus on what you want to do and really, really go nuts for that. And that's what the Fabergé egg is all about. It's about nailing that, like one, like if you said to Uriah, and what do you do with your survival? I'd be like, well, I work and we have kids and we're married and renovating, blah, blah, blah. And if you asked, Mr. Fabergé, he'd be like, well, I make golden eggs with semi and precious stones for the Russian royal family for Easter. Pretty bloody niche. It's kind of lovely. And I think with this generalist, it's nice, but it's nice to, the nerding out over, and I use the
Mm,
nerd in the most bestest way, like nerding out, geeking out to the nth degree. I don't think we see that enough anymore. And I don't think it's encouraged
mm,
enough to this,
mm,
like going really down the rabbit hole. Yeah, the opposite of the generalist culture, which I love as well. And I love that people know about
mm.
this stuff and they obsess over it. I also love as well that because there's this temptation to say, you shouldn't spend that money on an egg, you should give it to the homeless. And like, first of all, no one's going to be like, should I buy an egg or give this to the homeless? Like, it's not really that transactional. Um, but
Mm,
also just to know, because money and worth and value is all scalable. Like, when you were
mm.
5 years old, $50 meant a lot different to you than it does now. Like, still the same $50, but
Yeah.
so everyone's got their axe to grind. So I love just watching how people spend their money, what they perceive as value.
Yeah, and that people perceive these to be of such like immense value in monetary terms. Like,
Yes. It shows you money being used as a currency, like,
mm,
because current is, a moving flow of something, like water is a current, electricity is a current. I mean, money's homemade, it's man-made, but it's a current, like it moves
mm,
around. And that's,
mm.
people use their currency like that, the money value one, to like, I know I sound a bit nuts, but sometimes with speaking of currency, like energy is a currency. And so I would
Mm.
rather spend the money and have someone else wash the car than me do it and save the money. Because I'm like, oh my God, there's no, like, please don't make me do that.
Yeah, you see the value in getting somebody else to do it. Yeah, exactly,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Have you come across any sort of community or online communities or real life communities on about Fabergé eggs? Are you aware of any of that kind of thing?
Not only from afar. I know that Franklin,
Mm,
which is I think an American brand, they make replicas of the eggs, but I'm a little
yeah,
bit psycho. It's George. I either have the $20 one from Singers, or I'm getting
yeah,
the $20 million one. I got
yeah, nothing, nothing in
all or
between.
nothing. Um, but when I used to hang out at down the street at this house, I felt like I was in the Tsar and the Tsarina's palace. Like,
Mm,
so that's, even though I don't think there was any Fabergé in the house, I felt like I was there anyway. And
yeah.
they had, pianos, and the kids started learning violin and piano at 3 years old. It was a really disciplined culture, and they had beautiful
Mm,
German furniture like that Bauhaus, the like banana
mm,
but the indoor leather and timber one, that stuff like
mhm.
that. They would do Christmas on Christmas Eve.
Which is also different to how we do it in Australia, especially in that time period, as you were saying.
Yeah, so I felt like I was in it. And Baba as well would, she had long white hair and she would plait it and wear it across the top of her head in
Mm,
that really traditional fashion. And so it was, she had these piercing blue eyes, and um, it was just beautiful. Like, so I felt like, even though I wasn't in it, like I could feel it. Like I feel like I got
mm.
submerged into the culture as opposed to a culture that wraps around that.
Yeah, that's really lovely. That's so nice. So I was thinking, okay, how much time of your spare time are you thinking about Fabergé eggs? I spend a lot of time thinking about clothes. It occupies a lot of my spare time, books, Taylor Swift's success. I just quite often just think about like that's incredible. Like how much time are you thinking about Fabergé eggs?
Love it. Not very often at all. They come in, I think, because it's been probably a 30 or 40 year, that they've been in
Yes.
my life.
Yes. Yes, it's quite some time.
It's quite some time. So they waft, but they come in and out whenever need be, like whenever it comes out of the,
Hmm.
so it's like distinct points where every couple of years it'll come to the fore, and then it'll be in my life a lot. And I kind of, but I wear them on the inside. Like whenever I see them, I'm like, oh, you're back. Like on the out, because they've never gone anywhere. They live in, like, I love them.
Oh,
And,
that's nice.
like, it's not dissimilar to a Kinder Surprise. Chocolate
I
egg.
was just thinking that. I was when you were talking, I'm like, this is like the adult Kinder Surprise,
Mhm.
the adult, very opulent, very fancy Kinder Surprise.
Yeah. I remember years ago, like, I don't know, 20 years ago, thinking, oh my God, someone has to design a toy that can fit into a Kinder Surprise that comes in pieces that you put together, which is a part of the fun. So what kind of job is it? It's nuts. And now I'm married to someone who literally, like, that Chris would be able to do that. That's, industrial design
Mm.
101. doing that stuff.
Yeah.
So cool. And that tiny detail. And people just, a lot of people wouldn't even break stride to even talk about a Kinder Surprise, but a Kinder Surprise chocolate toy element of surprise, useful little capsule to put in after. Like, it is the perfect rhyme. And it's just sitting at the
100%.
supermarket. You can buy one for like $2.50.
Yeah. Linky loves a Kinder Surprise. He ticks all the boxes for him because he loves toys, he loves chocolate, he loves surprises. As you said, he's like, yeah, done. Loves it.
And it gets you hooked as well because it comes with a little guide of the 5 others that come in the set.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, you collect
exactly. Do you think that Kinder Surprise must have been based on a Fabergé egg? Would you think like that's where it's come from, the idea?
It must have. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so interesting.
Because it's European as well. It's like
Yeah.
Switzerland, isn't it? Yeah.
Swiss or German, I think, because Kinder is German, I think, for chocolate.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. And then also, I wonder if it even predates Fabergé and it goes back to Dresden, Germany, with the green vault and all of those miniatures and things that they would make. Well, I know what I'll be doing this afternoon.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Do you have a favourite Fabergé egg that stands out for you?
I love the first one because it's white on the outside and a pure gold ball on the inside. And I really love things that are undisturbed. Like when I was younger, I just liked plain pasta or plain pasta with butter, just mountains of sameness, or like white fondant icing on cake that's not interrupted.
Purist.
Yeah, like when I was younger, I really hated routing on timber, when they make the edge a bit curly.
Oh, yes. Yes, that was such a thing back in the day. Yeah.
I used to hate it with a passion. I used to think about getting a jigsaw and just cutting off the routing off everything in my life. Like when I was 12. Yeah, and so, the smoothness. So I absolutely love that number one egg. And also it's the first. It's not a prototype. It's like the prototype. Thereafter, the aquamarine stone that the yacht ship thing lives on, that is just stunning. And to replicate the sea like that is exquisite. And the peacock, because peacocks are up there with octopuses.
Spirit animal.
Absolutely. And I think there's one called the Third Imperial Egg, and it is, we'll post it on Insta. It is, I want to say watermelon pink, but it's better than watermelon pink. It's like watermelon pink, and then it's got this shot bright orange, like checker. It's like the matrix of little dots that glow all over it. And I know I'm overselling it, but when you see it, I can't even oversell it. It's so beautiful. And that one, I think, theoretically is valued. I mean, again, it is not sold, but it's currently valued at 43 million US, I think, at the moment. That's big boy. I don't know what the surprise is in that, or who even knows? You can't even, it's so hypnotic, you can't get past it.
Yeah, the first part. And isn't that so interesting as well, that it's just beauty. It doesn't, as we're talking about, like you can't do anything with it. You can't, like, it's just to look at. It's just for your eyes to absorb and to reach your heart. And that's it. This is this thing worth $33 million, just to look at.
My God. Incredible. And if we flip that out, let's flip that out to make it the opposite. Think of something ugly. Like what's an ugly tool? Like angle grinder.
I was going to say whippersnipper or something.
Whippersnipper. Oh my God, it's even worse. Whippersnipper. Imagine that, like, it is the ugliest thing. It's so ugly. I hate looking at it. I hate touching it. It's poorly balanced. They don't work very well. Imagine paying money for that. All it can do is cut stuff. All it can do is cut stuff sometimes. So that's how I see it.
And sometimes it doesn't even do that. Right?
Exactly.
It breaks all the time.
And it's ugly. So I think that, with the eggs, like, that's the price of the pure joy and the beauty of it, is like that. So for something to be so enrapturing and romantic and amazing with vibes, with story and vibes, that, it's worth that. And that's what I like. It's the flipping out, because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And that's what I I can't stop thinking about the whippersnipper. And there's a few cars already rid of as well. I'm just like, oh my God. Sometimes Chris is like, have you seen the new blah, blah, blah car? I'm like, why are you bringing that into my mind? Like, why?
I don't want to think about it. Yeah. Back to Fabergé Eggs police.
Yeah, Chris will be like, oh, that's an ugly car. I'm like, oh, thanks.
He's got his negativity bias onto the ugly cars. Don't want to know about it. We're all worse off for knowing that. I know it is. I do love flipping the script on things like that. I think it is really cool when you think about it in those sort of terms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, let's say Mr. Fabergé could make you any egg that you want. What would it look like? What colors would it be? What surprise would be inside it? And where in your beautiful, recently renovated home would you put it?
I would probably switch the sauna out for a vault.
Makes sense.
Cement that baby in there, and then I would oh my goodness, I would create the inside of I Dream of Jeannie's bottle in the cellar.
Yep.
And the ladder into it would be getting
it.
out of the.
Oh my God. So you come down through the top of the.
Oh. Yeah. And then I would have
so good.
The middle, like the ottoman in the middle would, crack open and the egg would come out from there. And then the egg would probably be like, maybe just in the spirit of the theme, either a contrasting colour and or the same colour as the I Dream of Jeannie. So it's like this inception, so I'm getting tingles in my knees. And then that opens and it's the inner side of I Dream of Jeannie again.
Oh my God.
And then I am in the egg, holding the egg.
Yeah.
Oh,
so meta.
I'm hoping to hold my own head so it doesn't pop off my.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And what if, because the velvet pile is different lengths. So the velvet of the chairs in the I Dream of Jeannie, my size, I Dream of Jeannie, would be one length of pile velvet. But then the pile of the velvet on the inside of the egg would have to be more shaved so it's all relative.
It just blows my mind even thinking that you could, conceive of this idea. It's so wild. I love it. Oh, so good.
It just makes me want to hold myself in thought. Oh my God, thank you. I'm going to live on that for the rest of my life.
Oh, for the joy of it, right? Just for the joy of it.
Just for the joy of the ether, because, creativity, it's, from like big magic or however one wants to believe it, it just comes through the ether. And, lightning struck and the Fabergé family came into existence, and through them and at the right intersection, all of these beautiful things were made. And, if you're having a hard time kind of relating to beautiful things, whatever you see it, whether it's like, orchids, daisies, any kind of, God, maybe you're into whippersnippers, each to their own.
Exactly. Don't come for us, whippersnipper fans.
Don't snip me. Try.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, just it came through from the other side, and then it got birthed, and given like what we do, like working in design is just being a vessel for creativity come through, and same with your writing and with building the house and creating a home is this bringing it through from the other side. And so when I'm designing and creating and stuff, if I'm having a hard time, even if I'm writing, if I'm having a hard time, particularly creating the visuals, I just ask the thing what it wants. I'm like, what do you want? Like, what are you missing? What are you, even like with the house, I'll say like in my head, like look at that, what do you want? And I know this sounds nuts, but it will say like, I need a rug, but it needs to be cool tones. Like I'm too hot in here or whatever. It just comes through. It's me and the things.
But I think as well, you've got to let the things speak to you, right? Because if you just are like, I think again, busy lives, busy nervous systems, all worked up. It's hard to drop down into that space where you can be like relaxed enough to let something come to you rather than, going for it or sort of trying to make it happen and trying to fix something into like sort of square peg, round hole sort of thing, But if you just let it speak to you, again, it sounds a bit cuckoo, I know, but I get what you mean. But sometimes I think, because I have been thinking about the spirit of that when we've been doing some of the work with the house, but I feel like I've been so stressed that I can't access that at the moment. So that in itself is a skill, I think, and just, having the patience and the knowledge or the experience to know that it will, if you let it, it'll come,
Yeah, you're so right. Because the reason that I do it and that I know it works and is because I've done it before. So I've got proof of model and I've got trust and faith that it will come. And sometimes it takes patience. Sometimes the thing is like, I'm not ready. Do you mind? Like, I have Like I am embryonic. I'm not ready to be birthed
Mm-hmm.
easy. And, I'm like, cool, cool. I'll be right here. I'll be waiting when you're ready. But with other parts of my life, especially the central nervous system, I'm like, what time will be my dopamine hit? Like, when will I be fixed? When's my calibration? Like,
Yeah.
how long until my sciatica is fixed? Like,
Yeah.
how long of drinking water until I've lost 3 kilos? What, like I want it yesterday. Yes,
Yeah.
I really need to, and that's a great lesson. Thank you. Is I need to apply that kind of patience, faith, and trust into other areas of my life. Yeah, because certainly with that, I've got absolute proof that because it comes. And so I know to shake a tooth loose, like we're right on the edge of cracking a nut with a design challenge or something. And so we'll go for like we'll do a hot lap around the block to go. If you've been in this energy, you've got to go sideways to a different energy. So you've got to get a cross line with something else, and then whammo, solution.
100%. 100%. Yeah, so true. Is there anything else you'd like to share about your affection for Fabergé eggs?
No, other than at the risk of being controversial, I hope that if no other reason, Mr. Putin, for the water stop in Russia, can you please stop so we can lift all the sanctions and the airlines can fly there again, and then I can go to the museum and have a look at the Fabergé eggs. If for no other reason, help me see Fabergé eggs.
Yep. Reason enough for me.
Mr. Putin.
The thought of you seeing a Fabergé egg, it just gives me such glimmers. I mean, even hearing you speak about something that lights you up so much gives me a glimmer as well. And I think that was part of why we wanted to explore these little, topics and areas, is because when you see somebody talk about something that they love or something that they're passionate about, as obscure as it is, the more obscure, the better almost, it's just such a joy. Again, life can be such a grind. There's so much, we talked about this before, there's so much drudgery about being an adult sometimes, but I think just watching somebody like tap into that thing for them is just a joy. So thank you so much for sharing your joy for Fabergé eggs.
Thank you. One other story hit me, and I kind of use it. It's a bit of a litmus for, two kinds of people, those who are on the llama and those who can't see the llama. And years ago, we were at Chris's old boss's holiday house. I used to work for two guys. They had families, but they bought a beach house together and they'd holiday together. And we were down there at Christmas and sitting around having drinks and whatever. And then I say in passing, this is about 15 years ago, I say in passing, something Fabergé egg. And, and these guys know about Fabergé eggs, that some of them are into antiques or into art, that kind of thing. And one of them looks at me and cocks his top lip like this, like, huh? Like as if you're delusional for even talking about who, it's like, I'm Asian, I'm talking about my first car getting a Rolls, like that kind of lunacy. The other guy leans forward, he kind of leans forward. He says, interesting, Renee. Now tell me, what's the general price at the moment Fabergé eggs are going for? Like, kind of rubbing his beard, like, like you might buy one after lunch. And I'm like, about 20 million. He's like, yeah, they are getting on in price. And again, the guy, like, his top lip is still cocked up, like, you guys are insane. But, this one guy is on the llama and the other guy can't see the llama. And, and that's what's really fun about, of course, I understand theoretically it's expensive, but the money is only one part of it. It's the appreciation. Because, again, money's only one currency. Laughter's a currency, misery is a currency, electricity is a currency. There's all kind of currencies that we pay for stuff. And, to focus on the beauty ahead of the money is super fun. So that's totally. Like the Fabergé egg is, sometimes it's like a soothsayer. It's a 3D pair of spectacles, and so if someone mentions Fabergé or gold eggs, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm up to speed. Keep going.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit of an insight to them, isn't it? Like when you're talking about one of those guys was like, okay, he's willing to go on the little flight of fancy with you. That's, just somebody that's willing to like entertain that or witness that in you and like go along with it is also, that's really, I don't know, it's really telling about a person, I think, as well.
Totally agree. 100%.
That is our show for today. If you have a topic that lights you up the way Fabergé eggs light Renee up, please get in touch with us. You can email us at glimmerhunters@gmail.com. You can also follow us at Glimmerhunters on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And if you're enjoying the show, why not consider leaving us a review on Apple or Spotify? Until next time, Glimmer Hunters, bye.
Bye.